sell it cheap. We'll talk about it after the service. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to bring up our next speaker. He's an international speaker, for real. I'm not trying to hype him. He's an OAP who resigned to, the guy is just so many things. He's a pastor, OAP, writer. He's an encyclopedia. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have heard of the name Olushola Amushon, he's going to be speaking to us next. Please, TEDxElizadeUniversity, give a resounding applause for Olushola Amushon.
Many times we forget that Africa is a fundamental part of the world. And the reason why we do that is because for the most part of our history, staying alive as young adults, we have seen Africa as the world's largest single liability. We consume what we don't produce, we produce what we don't consume, and no economy survives on that kind of equation. So today my goal is to talk to you about the fourth industrial revolution and ask a very simple question. What if we can provide education and fourth industrial revolution skills to Africans? I'm going to ask the question of whether we can provide education to Africans. I'm sure you're shaking your seats because you're like, well, I'm in a university. Well, my own 5-year degree only gave me schooling and not education. Because when I left, I had to educate myself over and over again on the ideals that will make me indeed a global citizen. So today we ask the question, what if we can truly provide education and give fourth industrial revolution skills to the people who actually need it? You've heard about the Stone Age. You've heard about the Industrial Age. You've heard about the Information Age. In the last 5 years, the world has moved into a new age called the Age of Intelligence. An age that basically focuses on how you can apply information in entirely new ways. So some of the domains of learning that I would like to think about are data science, blockchain technology, which you probably know about because of cryptocurrency, Internet of Things, 3D printing, virtual and augmented reality. These are domains that the world is focusing on right now, but that several African countries, universities, educational institutions have refused to pay attention to. But there are a few rebels, a few good rebels who are making a difference in artificial intelligence around our world. And what I hope to do today is to show you a model that can help you, whether you're a social entrepreneur or whether you are an educator or whether you are indeed someone who should be participating in this fourth industrial revolution, but who has not had a chance because there are no structured means by the government of the country called Nigeria. So we decided to set out and say, can we indeed train 10,000 African data scientists by 2022? That's just a few years from now. And if we can create a model perhaps and share this model on platforms like this, it will help people like you and I, who are indeed thinkers and lovers of information, to do something about it. What we started doing about 2 years ago, and that we intensified effort in January of this year, was that we started running a few good pilots. We wanted to show that marginalized communities, other than Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt, where all the major things happen, can actually get access to artificial intelligence knowledge. So we started running a few pilots, and that's how you can start. If you need to give any form of support to a marginalized community, and you want to demonstrate that the investment of your funders will not go to vanity, then you need to run a few good pilots. After running pilots, you need to know your stats. This year we've done 7 boot camps, 1,208 applications, and we've successfully trained 246 people. You must run your pilots, and you must know your stats. After knowing your stats, what is also important is for you to learn how to share your story. Sharing your story highlights your success story is very important. If you run a social enterprise in Nigeria, the chances are that you will not be placed in any particular frame, because most people are used to non-profit organizations and for-profit organizations. They are not aware of the central point where you can make profit for the good of society. So you must tell a few good stories. Good stories like that of Bisola, who now has a data science job in Lagos, who would not have had that job if she didn't attend a data science class. Or that of Dennis, who received a $5,000 USD grant, $5,000 grant, simply because he attended that program to research on food security. Stories like that of Dunsin, who's been invited to an Ashoka think tank in Accra. Or stories of Toby Bantu and his friends who won 1 million naira after they attended the boot camp. You must have your stories, and these stories is what can charge people to make things happen. Use local and international media. If you really want to make a difference, people will search for you on random search engines, whether it's Bing or Google or Ask or whatever. They will try to find you, and your news, your search engine optimization skills will come in handy in this. So you must use local and international media. And instead of fighting for your face to be spread on the pages of a physical newspaper, you might want to find out whether they have an online platform and connect to their online platforms. Be open to partnerships. Half of the time in this world we live in, particularly in this part of the world, we like to do things on our own so that we can take all the glory. You must seek for partnerships. If you seek partnerships, you can basically, like we did, ask for job placements in countries around the world from partners who essentially would have use of the kind of people you're providing fourth industrial revolution skills for. You need to scale to other domains of learning. After you've run your pilot like we are doing now, we're moving from data science, and now we're focusing on Internet of Things, and we're taking it on to 3D printing and 3D manufacturing, and eventually, perhaps before the end of the year, we'll be running augmented reality programs. Within this same domain, you need to scale and expand across the continent. There is no value in running a social enterprise that can only solve the problems in Nigeria. You need to find similarities across northern Ghana, to Tanzania, to Kigali, across the continent, to try out your model and be able to demonstrate to the rest of the world that indeed it's something that works. Then look for donations of devices and equipment that can indeed help people in those marginalized communities to be able to make a difference. I speak about the marginalized community, and my example in this case is Akure, a place where a few years ago, 6-7 years ago, when some of us lived here fully, we had to travel for 15 minutes meetings at the US consulate. We'll go in the morning and come back in the evening because we had a test the second day. So you need to make sure that in order to give people who live in marginalized communities the kind of access that they need, that you find the opportunities for donations, for devices, the kind of things that would normally take them away from the city, from the townships to all the cities, you can provide it in those local communities. Find technical partnerships. Most times it's not all about money. As we did, you need to look for sponsorships for international faculty. We have a number of international faculty members who are traveling to Nigeria, and they are not coming to Lagos or Abuja. They are coming to Akure, they are coming to Benin, they are coming to local communities to volunteer their time and give value back. Joint research in deep technology domains. A few weeks ago, we had meetings with a number of top technology companies in Nigeria, including Siemens, to identify how we can help them with R&D. So you need to create joint research opportunities in deep tech learning domains. For example, data science and blockchain solutions. Build exchange programs. This applies to any form of social enterprise you run. You need to build exchange programs and partnerships. And it doesn't matter whether you're in a university or you're out of school already. Build exchange programs and programs for outstanding scientists in your programs and for eventual partnerships. Eventually, you need to seek investment. So don't just build your model around some non-profit equation. People always want to support for-profit scenarios. And if it does not provide profit on the long run, it is not sustainable, I tell you, my friends. So demonstrate your market size. For example, you can say AI and data science sales is at $60 billion annually. Let people know the value of these things and make sure your fact-finding are basically correct. Show your revenue. In the first 6 months for us, for example, we already did $45,000 in a marginalized community because we used this model I just showed you. investment, for example, you can say we self-invested $80,000. If yours is 80,000 naira, it doesn't matter. The point is you're putting in something, and we're seeking XYZ to expand. Make comparisons when defending your case. You need to demonstrate to people around the world what you're trying to build. Okay? If it's an e-learning platform, you might want to compare it to Coursera or Quora. If it's a video sharing platform, you might want to compare it to YouTube. Okay? Make comparisons, and this is what will make investors to warm up to you. Then know your unit economics. Your unit economics is what it takes you, essentially, to train or empower one person. Okay? What it costs you to train or empower one person. Identify your unit economics and demonstrate it to the people who would eventually be the ones to support you. Tell people about the big picture. Show them the large scale. What you will look like when you scale. Where you will go when you eventually scale. And more importantly, and finally, make sure you build a great faculty and advisory board. Nothing beats building a great faculty and advisory board. For your organizations, regardless of the fact that you are the visionary, you need the right set of people on your board to give the right value that can position you for the greatness that you ultimately deserve. Thank you very much.
To give you a presidential handshake for doing it before the required time. Please, let's put our hands together for Shola Motion again. You know, he is a very time-conscious human being, and he tried to do everything within the time frame. We are still learning, and will continue to learn. He has said a lot of things. Please, can you just keep his contact there for a while, so that people can just grab his contact? If you need to ask more questions, we know there are no time for questions, so you can just grab it. Don't worry. He's a VIP, but he answers all his calls if he's not in a meeting anyway. So, all right, the next speaker is going to be speaking to us on how to go green, or how to sell greenness in our community. The world is going green. Everybody is trying to ensure that we have a safe environment where we don't have lots of chemicals. But I will still tackle her. She was the reason why I asked the question from the locust guy the other time. So, ladies and gentlemen, please, I know your hands are not busy, and if they are busy, you can just lend me for just a few seconds. Put those hands together as I make welcome a new friend I just made today, Adenike Akinshimolu. Please put your hands together for her. She wants me to call it in the Yoruba way. So me too, I want to call it in the Yoruba way. Adenike Akinshimolu. Please put your hands together for her.
Hello, my name is Adenike, and I teach environmental sustainability in a rural college in Nigeria. So let me ask you the question I often ask my students. How do we minimize the negative impacts of climate change? Give you 2 seconds to think about that. All right. Looking into this audience, I see some people that understand this concept, and others, just like my students, in their first day of class, with blank stares. We're all familiar with the Maslow hierarchy of needs. But before I talk about that, I'll talk about the Green Book. So, we can minimize the effects of climate change by going green. And still, that doesn't really make sense, right? So, we created the Green Book. The Green Book contains the green idea. It summarizes all the science of climate change. So, I told my assignments, go and learn, read this book, and come back to class. But they came back to class with word-for-word answers. They didn't quite understand the idea of going green, especially the science behind this idea. So that didn't work. You see, going green falls is a new and complex way of thinking. It doesn't come naturally to us as humans as it once did. You're familiar with the Maslow hierarchy of needs. It has human needs from basic level of necessity to the more complex and life-fulfilling at the top level. So the need for food and shelter comes first, followed by the need for love and relationship, and lastly, the need for self-actualization. Going green comes under self-actualization, to leave a legacy, to do something great. It is when you have the basic necessities of life, like food, shelter, security. That is when you think about leaving a legacy for your community. And you have to understand that I work in a rural community college. So how do we get students that probably would not have access to 3 square meals in a day to do something great going green? So it falls under self-actualization. So we needed to connect them to a concept. My students, the college community, and I are doing so with the Green Institute. And today, I am going to walk you through the journey of how we started the green movement in Nigeria. So, starting the green idea was a very uphill task. Provost of Adeyemi College of Education, the Professor Olukoya Ogen. Professor Olukoya Ogen is somebody that I love. So we told them, why not wear the green t-shirt? Why not ride a green bicycle across campus? So we took a lot of pictures, and Professor Olukoya Ogen put these pictures on his personal Facebook page, as well as various strategic locations across campuses. The result was fantastic. What does this green? Why is our provost wearing green about campus? Right? So we had a lot of people giving us feedback. However, Professor Ogen is a celebrity of some sort. So you hear students saying things like, well, the provost is a rich guy, right? So he can afford to ride bicycle across campus because he probably wants to lose weight. Because an average Nigerian wants to ride luxury, wants to ride the Mercedes, the big cars, the Camry, to ride the bicycle. So in solving a problem, we realized we've created another problem. So we needed students to connect to everyday people, people that they see in their classes. We started using student representatives, Miss Campus, lecturers, to show the different ideas of going green. Registrar, from the slide, on the banner says something like, you're never too old to cycle, or you're never too old to exercise. I love cycling, you should too. So by looking at all these banners across campuses, students beginning to connect with the idea of going green. Some, they simply come to us and say, Ma, how can I join this green movement? Because I just want my face on the banner. And why others are asking real questions. So, to further simplify this concept of going green, we promoted cycling on campus, a way for students not just to be friends with, it's not just a social tool, it became 3 things: a way to keep fit, a way to save money as opposed to taking public transportation, and a way to reduce the amount of carbon emissions on the environment. So now we began to experience success and change in people's behavior. But then we started thinking bigger. How do we spread these ideas? There are a lot of how do we solve the problem of trash in a college environment? So we designed the trash for education model. This is very simple. If you have about 500 plastic bottles or 1,000 plastic bottles, you bring it to the Green Center and we will exchange it for education or books. So in doing this, we're educating the people, and also we're reducing the trash or the waste on campus. Also, we understand that in Nigerian society, Nigeria is a very religious society. And because climate change is very scientifically inclined, simplify the concept by using religion. Because an average Nigerian can connect to any other thing. So we use the Quran, for instance, and there's a place in the Quran that admonish people for committing abuse on earth. We talk about greener pasture. It talks about lying in still waters. And also, there's a verse in the Bible that says, the earth is defiled by its people. They have disobeyed the laws and violated the statuses. Earth is burned up. By saying the earth is burned up is the same thing as the idea of climate change, when there is ozone layer depletion. Now, how do we get people to think green? So I asked my students some questions. I said, when you think about the word green, what comes to mind? Some say growth. Some say agriculture, the Nigerian flag. Some even mention the GSM companies in Nigeria. At least, everything that everybody has said has been something positive. So if the word green is associated with positivity, why aren't we going green? It's very simple. It's because we're corrupt. When you're thinking about corruption, you think about corruption in an environmental sense. You think about corruption as political instability, embezzlement. I'm saying, let's think about corruption in an environmental sense. Corruption is dropping your waste on the floor without feeling a sense of guilt. Corruption is eating in excess or drinking in excess where there are people in other countries that don't have access to food and water. Corruption is multinational companies discharging their effluents into the water that some people have to drink from, that they have to bath from, and they have to make a living from. That is corruption. So, if we cut down our excesses as humans, then it's good for us and it's good for the environment. Now, how can we go green? We can go green by reducing our waste. If you look at this picture, it is beautiful. That is the Eiffel Tower, nature at its finest. When you see Nigerians go to this kind of locations, they like to take pictures and selfies and tag their location. I am in France, I'm in Paris, and they put it on Facebook and Instagram. But who likes to take a picture in this kind of environment? And this is our reality in Nigeria. We are the cause of this. So we need to take care of our environment so that we can be proud of where we come from. So you can see students leading by example by reducing visual pollutions on campus. Another way to go green is to plant flowers and trees. I remember in one of my classes, I was teaching my students photosynthesis. And I said, you know what, let's practicalize this concept. If you plant more flowers, then you have more oxygen in the environment. So let's plant flowers. Initially, we had only 1 or 2, 3 students join us. I knew I had to practice what I'm preaching, so I joined them in planting the flowers. And we started taking pictures and put it on Facebook and other social media pages. Before you know it, the number increased from 1 to 10 and even to 20. And students were enjoying the process of planting flowers. And most importantly, they learned a valuable lesson of teamwork, and they were happy at the end of the day. Conservation of energy. We should switch off our appliances when not in use. We can also invest in fluorescent light bulb. By doing that, you're saving money and you're reducing the amount of emissions in the environment. This is the college community, and this is a ATM machine that is powered by solar. And these are some of the advocacy that we've done at the college. Conservation of water, because every drop counts. There are people in other countries that water is a luxury to them, so we have to conserve our water. Greening our transportation by walking, by cycling, or by taking public transportation, especially carpooling. Carpooling is not common in this environment yet, but I hope one day it will be. We can also go green by buying organic food and products. When you buy organic, you're investing in the local economy because you're buying food from local farmers. That way, the community will grow. When you eat organic, you have beautiful skin. You have healthier lifestyle. So it's better to use organic products. And these are pictures of students. This is the college community. We have a palm oil refinery where we produce oil and people from the outside can come to buy oil. And students are happy doing it. And lastly, we can go green by raising eco-conscious kids. Less kids be kids. A lot of kids nowadays, they have gadgets and they're always on social media. Let them go outside and play. Let them read inside nature. Let nature inspire them to create, to innovate. Let them feel the sun on their skin. Let them count the stars at night. Because a study that was conducted by the Green Institute shows that students that play outside are more healthier, happier, and smarter. Under my leadership, the Green Institute have recruited over 5,500 ambassadors spanning about 38 universities across the country, and we've trained about 10,000 students nationwide. So, it is easy to see the culture of environmental sustainability as a lot of hard work. And maybe it is. But nothing good comes completely easy. We have to be deliberate about how we treat our environment, because when we're gone from this planet, we're going to be leaving it in the hands of those who come after us. We want to leave them a planet that is comfortable for them, and that's the future generations. We want to leave them environmental legacies that they can imbibe and improve upon. To remind us of our responsibility to our environment, the Green Institute has a Green Pledge. I say this pledge often, and I also encourage my students to do the same. So today, I am going to encourage us to take the Green Pledge by please standing up on our feet and taking the Green Pledge with me. So, the way you take the Green Pledge is very simple. You put your right hand on your chest. Don't worry, we're not initiating you into a court. All right, so right hand on the chest. Here we go. So you say your name, don't say my name. My name is... I will never drop that pure water sachet or suya wrapper on the floor. I will eat and drink sustainably because I know some people... I would eat and drink moderately.
Part of the pledge, me, I didn't see. The part of I will eat moderately. Says who? Look at my size. I will not eat moderately. Abi, is this world for battle alone? Well, somebody said, how many children have you eaten?